welcome to the Knitting Project. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. Today is Monday the 28th of February 2022 and this is episode 124. Welcome if you are a new viewer, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my podcast all about my crafting week. I've got a few projects I've done. I've got some bullet journaling, I've got some sewing, and I've got a little bit of happy mail. I had a question in the comments, or a comment in the comments last week about the fact that somebody didn't know what SCR1TNO stood for. It's literally my initials and a tagline from the X-Files. It's years old and I needed it for an email address many years ago and it kind of stuck, and it, as very few people choose SCR1TNO, I can normally use it. So yeah, that's where it's come from. It's nothing exciting, I promise. But the Knitting Project is so much easier to say, so we have renamed ourselves the Knitting Project. So if you are new, I do a daily rotation of whips. It's normally over 6 days, but at the moment it's over 4. And that is so that I get to work on each of these 4 projects a little bit more often, because I actually want to get them done. And I've got so many new plans of things else I want to do, so I need to get on with that. Let's go into admin. Congratulations to all the prize winners. They were on the end of the last video, so if you've not seen that, go back and check it. And we've got 2 knit alongs going on at the moment. We've got a shawl knit along where we are finishing off our shawls. I mean, ironically, I actually started that so I'd finish my Maytham shawl, which I did finish. I still haven't blocked it though. That's happening this week. In fact, I'm going to hopefully do that tomorrow. And my Stephen West, and I haven't even picked up my Stephen West, so I'm going to have blown that deadline, but I'm enjoying my Brioche Adventure wrap so much I'm kind of trying to get that done by the end of March instead. And then we've got the Square a Day cowl, which basically is knitting a small part on a bigger project each day. I'm knitting I've called it my gentle blanket, and it's done with a mitered square, so it's like a Cosy Memory blanket. I was knitting a Cosy Memory blanket, but I actually want to get this blanket finished, so I thought actually I'm going to stick that into the Square a Day rotation, because that worked really well for me last year on my Christmas blanket. So I've got that. I also really want to work on it. It's something I love working on. Also, with the current climate, I did think twice about whether I was going to record this week, because it does seem a bit trivial talking about crafting and knitting and journaling, etc., with all that's going on in the Ukraine, and I'm dreadfully upset by the news and the images coming out from there, and I feel so sorry for those poor people. And I know there's a few podcasters out there who feel that this seems a bit trivial, a bit flippant in the light of what's going on. Believe me, my heart is breaking for those people, and I'm trying to do everything I can personally behind the scenes to help. And yeah, I kind of didn't know whether to put this live or not, but I thought, you know what, hopefully, I know I'm taking solace in watching other people's podcasts, and just being able to have that break and being lucky enough to be able to do that. So I thought, well, actually I will put my episode out, and presumably if you've seen this, I have decided to put it live. So I record on a Monday and it doesn't go live till Sunday, but that's so it gives me an entire week to get my editing done, because sometimes I don't get the editing all finished until Thursday. So yeah, I'm hoping if you're watching, then you're watching because you want to be here, and that it's how you feel too, and that you're looking for some kind of light relief. I'm probably explaining this really badly, I'm really sorry. But yeah, so we decided we'll go ahead and I'm going to keep it as normal. But yeah, it's such a sad and scary time at the moment, but I guess crafting is our solace, and it is perhaps our way of getting through some of these things, and we're lucky enough to be in a position to be able to do that. Right, so with all that said, on to the knitting. So day 1 is socks, and I have got an FO, but I've gone wrong. I honestly didn't realise until I blocked them. So These are part of the Miss March collection from the Lonely Knitter, and these are the Beth socks, and I was lucky enough to test knit these, and I went wrong. So it's got this lovely pattern down the side, but they're supposed to have, like, that one's on the outside, that one's supposed to be on the outside too. It's not. I've managed to knit two of the same side, but I am not frogging them, so you know, I'm just going to have my own quirky style. Oops. Oh, I can't believe I did that. And I literally, it was I had them on the blockers, and I was like, oh. Never mind. Laura, I'm so sorry. It's got nothing to do with your pattern. It has everything to do with when I came to do the heel turn, I picked up the wrong side. Instead of picking up that side, so the pattern would have been that way around, I picked up that side. I was like, how silly can you get? I was not concentrating. But I love these, and I love the colourway. So let me show you this plain stockinette side of this. This is Laura's Sweet Pea colourway, and it's got a contrast mini from an unknown dyer. I have no idea whose the dyer is on this. Yeah, and it's so pretty, such a pretty colourway. And I do love the pattern, this diamond pattern down the side. And I love these socks, and I will wear them, and yeah. Oops. What a ninny. I didn't mean to do that. Oh well, never mind. I mean, if I was really dedicated, I'd knit two more the same and do two left, and I'd have, but no, that's not happening. So Laura, I hope you'll forgive me. I was going to offer these for her show that she's got coming up, but I'm thinking she might not want them. Oh dear. I mean, I guess we only display one sock, so that would be work. We were definitely displaying the one that goes this way round. Oh, honestly, but love them. And then the other socks I've been working on this week are my gingerbread socks. So that is the first one, which I'd got done a little while ago. This is Lay Family Yarns gingerbread colourway, which is really pretty. I know that they haven't dyed it for a couple of years now, so I'm hoping they might bring it back this year because it's beautiful. And I really hope this sock hasn't got as many ends as it appears to have. I don't think it does. Here we go. I was there when you last saw this last week, so I've knit the rest of that, and I've starting to go down the heel flap. So this is a sparkle base. I'm hoping you can see the sparkle. I think you might be able to, and the pink is super sparkly. And I love these. So these are going to be Christmas socks. They were a random cast on, and having tidied up the croffice, I have found a couple of sock whips. Although I found my flower crown socks, and now I've lost them again, so I don't know where they've gone. I've also found my 24-day socks, I think they're called, which I was doing as an advent project, but I stopped because the advent set I was using, my friend hadn't opened, so I didn't want to show it on Vlogmas. So I can start them now because I'm sure she's opened it by now. So yeah, I want to get on with those too. So that's the very scruffy wound cake, and that's the little mini, and then yeah, Lay Family Yarn, and Gingerbread House. That is living in my little Sherry Iris sock bag with my little embroidered daisy on the front, which is a super cute, pretty little bag, which I have broken. I have managed to pull one of my tabs out, so it doesn't do up as well as it should. I've kept it. I'm hoping to see Sherry later on in the year, and I'm hoping when I do I can take this with me and go, Sherry, could you fix this for me please? There's a bit of an oops, but yeah, love that. So that's day one, that's socks. And as I said, I'd like to sort out my flower crown ones so I can use those, knit those, but I have no idea where they went. I had another look for them yesterday and they've just seemed to have completely disappeared. so I may not be doing those anytime soon. So that's day 1 socks. Day 2 is my Brioche Adventure wrap, and I'm making some good progress with this now. Let's see if we can do this week without leaving the pattern out on the desk or dropping the balls or yarn on the floor. So this is what it's going to look like, roughly, sort of. That's the Brioche Adventure. And it's by, I think it's pronounced Jonatan Tollow. It could be Jonatan. And it's by Tollow Designs. And so last time you saw this, I was there, and now I've put in another 2 sections and I'm well up on my 3rd one. So, oh, I just love knitting on this. I'm loving this section, it's so pretty. Yeah. So that side is the right side. So that's how it looks on the right side. It's getting quite long now. And then this is how it's looking on the wrong side. And like I say, I love that section. It's so pretty. So this is the wrong side. It's so pretty, I love it. And this yarn is my Lay Family yarn Advent from 2020. So this is a fingering weight 24 20-gram minis. I am doing it on a whole size smaller needle than I should be, because these are 2.5 and it calls for a 3.5. As I said, I have no idea why I did that, but I did. Unless it was because I was really keen to cast on and I really wanted to do it on metal needles. Not sure. I'm sure there's a reason somewhere. But I do not know it. Yes, and I love it. Just love how this is working out. So it's a really relaxing knit. It's quite soothing if you want something, I won't say mindless because it's brioche. So well, I think once you get to, I think I'm on colour 18 now. I think once you get to colour 18, it probably is getting slightly mindless. I think you've probably kind of nailed it by then, although I did manage to start one of my new colours the wrong end, so I had to wrangle that. Oh no, I didn't wrangle that, I took that row back and then I had to start the right end. So yeah, that was a bit of an oops. But I think by that time, by colour 18, you've pretty much nailed it, so you can kind of relax with it a bit more. That's probably why I'm making mistakes. And that's hanging out in a lovely round elderflower stitches bag. Now Susie doesn't do her round bags anymore, she does a box bottom. I love her round bags, so I was really lucky to snag another one in her sale recently, so that will hopefully be here next week for next week's Happy Mail. But yeah, oh, isn't that lovely? So that's that one. Day 3 is my Felix jumper, and that has unsurprisingly moved up a bag size, all 3. Luckily I had this really lovely bag from Rachel of Savory Me, and it's a little bit bigger than her normal size bucket bags that she makes. It come out a bit bigger, but I snapped it up thinking it'd be a great blanket bag. Well, it turns out it's a great Felix jumper bag. And it's so pretty. I love this roses design. So in here is my Felix, and I have an apology to make to, I think is it Bonnie, who asked if I could show how I knit the sleeves on 2 circulars. I'm really sorry, I'd finished it, so I can't show you on this jumper, but I have got my Edie, which when this one's finished I'm going to go straight into doing, I think, a sleeve on that, and when I do I'll show you. But if you want to see how I knit my socks on 2 circulars, there is a tutorial on one of my vlogmases, or one of my episodes. 56 is yelling at me, but I will, if I can and I can find it, I will put one of those iCards in and link it. and that shows you how I do it with the sock, and essentially it's exactly the same because the sleeve is just a bigger sock, so it's exactly the same theory. I split half the stitches on one circular, half the stitches on the other circular, and you only ever knit onto the same circular, so you don't knit onto the one that's at the back that just hangs around. So you knit your front stitches onto your front circular, then you swap it round, and then you knit your back stitches onto your back circular, and then you swap it around this front again. And but as I said, there should be, if I've got it right, and it'll be linked. I'm going to hate myself in editing doing this. It should be linked up there, and hopefully I can find which one it is that has the tutorial. I think it's episode 56, but I will double check that, and as I said, hopefully link it here. Right, all that being said, this is the Felix Pullover by Savory Knitting. There's a few of these Felixes going around. This is an Aran weight jumper. And being a larger girl, I couldn't afford to do a jumper for me in Aran weight yarn, in indie dyed yarn. So I have used James C. Brett Aztec Aran, which is with alpaca. It's a 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca, and it's supposed to be machine washable, but I wouldn't trust that. I won't be machine washing mine. And this is colour AL4. It's kind of a real mauve colour. It's probably the mauvest colour that I've seen. It's a real sort of pinky mauve. It's really pretty. It's either a very dusky pink or a very light mauve. And we have got a little jumper going on now. So here we go. So I was I there? Yeah. I was there where you last saw this on this sleeve. So I have knit down. I haven't done the tapered sleeves like the pattern said. I've done blouse sleeves, so I've knit straight down to the wrist, and then I swapped to the smaller needles and decreased down to the wrist size. So it's got a really lovely pretty gather at the wrist. And I was where my little ghost is. So my ghost is from Laura of Who is the Lonely Knitter, Crafter's Balm and Bumbling Yarns, and I've done that amount of the body. So I'm just zooming around the body now, so it does look like a proper little jumper, and I love it. I love the details down the side. It's so soft and squidgy, so soft and squidgy. I'm really looking forward to wearing it. I think the neck's going to be similar to this. So the jumper I'm wearing today is my elderflower stitches. I did this not last Christmas, the Christmas before, with Hey Advent. It's the fingering weight, or is it DK? Oh, was this DK? Maybe this was DK. I think this was DK. So this is her I'm sure it was. So this was her Advent from 2020. I've done well. I've actually knit 2 projects from my Advents. Wow. And yeah, it's just a simple raglan sweater. Can't remember the pattern, but it's really nice. I did something a bit different with the sleeves on this, because I decreased sort of down like you would the top of a hat. So it's kind of a little bit more tapered towards the arm, but I really like it. I really like it. It's so pretty. I love Susie's colours. Such a pretty jumper. So that's a tangent. But yeah, I reckon I'm going to get this finished just in time for the summer. But that's okay. It will be great for, you know, those summer evenings where it's a bit chilly and we're outside camping with the caravan. I can just snuggle up in this, can't I? So yeah, there we go. Ah, there we go. Now I can see it and you can see it. It does look like a little jumper. So the body's knit on 6mm needles, and the ribbings are knit on 5. Oh yeah, so it's just round and round on the body now until I've decided the body's long enough. I think I'm going to make the body quite long on this, because I think I'd like it sort of to wear over more like jeans than dresses, because it's quite thick. I think it'd probably be more like wearing it with like leggings. If it could be long enough to wear over leggings, that would be cool. And it's not like I haven't got enough yarn, so I'm only now on my third ball. I've just started my third ball. So these are 100-gram balls, and I've just started my third one. I think last week we worked out that they're like $2.99 a ball. So yeah, it's a good price point. And it is really soft, gorgeous yarn. Soft and squidgy yarn. And I'm not worrying about like fading it in or marling it, or not marling it, or helical knitting it, because it's all the same dye lot. So theoretically, being a commercial yarn, I should be safe. Yeah. So that's day 3, my Felix. I'm really enjoying working on it, and now that it's kind of at giant sock stage, because I'm just going round and round on the body, it's very likely to be a project that I just grab and go if I need to grab and go anywhere, especially as my sock currently is at heel flap stage and requires the gusset decreases. So that's day 3. So day 4 is my Squiddle Village blanket, and that's hanging out in my Elderflower Stitches bag. And I am currently making my way through the April pack, which arrived last week. And I have done these squares. So that's the one I've got the second one to do on. And then this are all my squares, which is so pretty. It's interesting to see how it crochets up. It crochets up beautifully. It's very variegated if you crochet it. There we go. So I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, so 12.5, so 13 squares to go. And then I will attach them to the blanket, which is, this is the blanket. Which I'm very much enjoying, and I might put out a little recipe of how to make these blankets, because this is the same way as I made my Christmas blanket as well, and they do look good. They look like a little patchwork blanket, and I do 6 rounds of trebles, so granny stitch, so it's basically a granny square, but I do 6 rounds, and each time I finished a round I turn it round, so you get a very square, and kind of the front and back looks the same. And then I attach them with a single crochet, and then I attach the whole strip to the blanket also with a single crochet, so it's kind of got ribs down the sides, so it really does look like it's quilted, which I really, patchwork, not quilted, so it looks like it's patchwork. Really enjoy that. So yeah, so that's my little pile for this week. And yeah, if I end up running out of minis before the next one, then I'll pop a different blanket in here, or I may just even do more on my Cosy Memory, my gentle blanket, one of the two. So that's day 4, so that's the end of the rotation. So my square a day is hanging out in one of my Mrs. Brown's bags, bucket bag, and this is all bit using hedgerow yarn minis. To show you, I filled my bucket back up again the other day. Oh, aren't they lovely? So pretty. So they are hedgerow yarn minis. That's set 21. I'm sure you would have seen these on the podcast at some point. But I have a small know I have really large hetero yarn addiction. I love her yarns. And this is the blanket. So I'm not quite sure what happened this week, but I squared it off last week, as you know. And I obviously couldn't decide which side I was going to start again. So I've got one random one on this side there. And then I started this side too. Honestly, no idea what I did there. So at some point I'm going to need to square this off again. So yeah, I've done those 3 on that one. I didn't do as many morning squares as I have done. I didn't get my square a day done this week. I had a few mornings where I had to be up early and didn't have time, unfortunately. But yeah, so these little stitch markers are all so sweet violet. They're lovely. But yeah, I'm loving how this looks. It's such a pretty blanket. Yeah, no idea why I've got this little extra one at the bottom there. Never mind, it'll meet up next time. When I start next time, it won't be it'll be one extra I don't have to do. I won't be able to do my square off photo this time though, because it won't be square. Never mind, it will be at some point. Oh, it's so lovely. Honestly, I love it so much. So that pretty much is all I want to work on. That at the moment, I always have a project that's the one thing I only want to work on. For a long time it's been my brioche wrap, but at the moment I think just because, you know, headspace, it's very much a comfort blanket as well as being fun to do. So right, so that's the end of the knitting. I have got a sewing project. So my sewing journal, which I started a couple of weeks ago, is living in my Fiberfox advent box. And I had finished last week when you saw this. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a stitching journal, and the idea is that for each month I just do something small. So for January I've done the Little Mermaid, and that is because Mega's in Panto and this year it was the Little Mermaid. So that is for January because we were doing Panto Run in January. And then February, let me just take that off for a moment. I did my February page yesterday. So I've done February at the top. I mean, it's a little bit drunk, my February. I'm not quite sure why, because it wasn't when I wrote it, so I think I must have stitched it a bit off, but hey ho, at least it looks hand stitched. And then I've put a little bit of lace down the side of the page. So I've got white lace on the creamier page and cream lace on the whiter page. Didn't plan that. So that's the February, and then in months to come that'll be November, and that will be December. And my February picture, hold on a second, let's put that needle through there so we haven't got a needle down. This is hand drawn by me, so we know I can't draw, but I am doing, can you see, does that actually look anything like what I'm about to tell you? I'm doing a tree in a windstorm because of the big windstorms we had in February. I'm going to do this tree that's sort of blowing in the wind, basically, doing a big windstorm, and I thought I might do kind of these bits that are flying off as French knots, but I don't know until I see how that looks. So I'm using backstitch to do all the branches, and I'm using linen thread, which is natural flax wet spun 5-ply. There we go. And I'm using 3 of the 5 plies. It looks like this, which I bought last year at Unravel, because it's quite a it's quite rustic. It feels a bit like straw rather than thread, but I thought that would work really well as sort of like branch, to make it look woody for branches. and I'm really pleased how it's coming out. It's different to stitch with because it is that bit stiffer, but actually it's really nice, and I do like how it looks. So that's going to be February's. I will cut round this so it's a bit smaller, because this is quite a big one, and I didn't plan on it being that big. So yeah, so this will be February's, and then like this one, I will make a little tab and print 2022 on it. Yeah, so I'm quite enjoying that. So this is on a Sunday, well, on a Sunday I'm doing some slow stitching. So yesterday was Sunday evening because we had a very busy day yesterday, which I'll tell you all about in the end section, and you will actually see some video footage of too. But so I've done on January, I've kind of done January in red, and then I've stitched down my lace in the red, and then for February I've done the purple and stitched the lace down in the purple. So I thought I might just, you know, mix it up a little bit and do different colours. And the background cloth material is from Sherry Iris in her mindfulness advents for the last couple of years. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's going to be great fun to keep and just use sort of, you know, year on year. And this is all full of all sorts of wonderful things. So can I help? Yeah, you can sort of see it, can't you? I've got my pen. I've got a little bit of paper that we've tried to draw a mermaid on. I've got my pincushion, which my lovely friend Sherry made me for my birthday. And then there's just all sorts of beautiful scraps of yarn, of material. So for instance, there's this one, which is a hanky, which I would love to use as a page, but I would have to cut it down. And I'll be honest and say I was a bit precious about cutting these down, but I had to cut the white one that I was doing because it was just too big. And I've, you know, I kind of cut into it, and now I'm nowhere near as precious about it. So I might, that's a single page, or I might just use that as a backing, like keep it for backing for like January in years to come. I have to keep it for a little while. I'm hoping that it's going to, I'm going to do at least 5 on there, so that'll be 5 years. I've got like this one. I mean, to be fair, that would be too beautiful to cut. I probably wouldn't cut that one. It is so pretty. I don't know, maybe. Otherwise, I'm not going to have that many to use as backing. What else have I got in here? This is a pretty one. That's not big enough to be backing though, but I can certainly use it for something. See, with the backing, I might just do all sorts of different fabrics on the back, sew them together, and then just sew them round. Let's see, don't know. We will see. Look at that. That's a fab one, isn't it? Right, let's put the fabric away. Having way too much fun with that. So yeah, that's my stitching journal, which I'm doing on a Sunday. And so that's the end of the sewing section. So that's the end of kind of the yarny and sewy crafts. I've got a little bit of my bullet journal to show you if you're interested in that. So if you remember, I'm doing just a 2022 kind of memory book, sort of memories of things I was doing. So you'd seen this page. Now, last time you saw this, it didn't have the brown on the headings, and I've gone back and just coloured the brown on like the 22 there, on the headings on that page. So you saw that one, that's my book stack. Haven't quite finished my the girl in the tower, which is the next one in the series of 3 that I'm reading, because the 3rd book isn't due to arrive till tomorrow, and I didn't actually want to finish it and then find out that it was a cliffhanger, and because I know me, I'd then go and buy it on the Kindle, and that would defeat the object of actually having a physical book to read before bed. Anyway, so this is my project. I have filled some of this in, so there's projects there, and then that's got, just sort of gives you an idea of what I'm doing with each of them. So that's what I've worked on. And then these are my new pages. So I've done a TV tracker, and I've used some washi tape there, which I got from Rachel. So it says "But first coffee," because, you know, coffee and TV. And it's got the shows there and the seasons there. So I've got Heartbeat, which I'm on to I'm actually watching season 11 at the moment. And then it's got 18 seasons, I think, in total. And then I've got Discovery of Witches, which I've gone back to watch, and I'm on season 1 at the moment. So they're the 2 things. I'm also watching NCISLA, but I haven't worked out which season I'm on yet, so I need to put that in. Now, as you can see, I mucked up Heartbeat and its seasons. They're offset, so I've had to kind of wrangle Discovery of Witches so that they're now opposite each other. And I've put like the months I'm watching it in. So far I've watched Heartbeat in January and February. So this has got back pages, and then if you turn it over, there's got a couple of like the middle pages as well, because I can tend to watch a lot of things. And then that's the last page. And I decided to start bringing the brown in because I'd used this washi tape, and I just thought it would look really nice with the brown as well. So that's that one. And then the other spread I did is this one, which I'm really pleased with, which is movies. I totally copied this off of Pinterest, by the way. This is not my own design, but I really love it. Again, I'm keeping with the little vine theme, coloured the background of the movies, sort of the brown. Now with the tickets, yeah, the one at the top is where I saw it, so that's Cineworld. Who I saw it with will go down the side, which in this case was Meg. Where I saw it was Crawley. The film I saw was Belfast, and then the date I saw it goes on the end. So there's a lot of information in one of those little ticket squares. Now, before you think that I just freehand these, I don't. I carefully plan them before I so these are my planning sheets. I have printed out A4 sized dotted, so this is grid paper. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. So I have printed out A4 sized grid paper to plan on. As you can see, that was me planning a bookcase. That was my final design. I was looking at doing a cloud with the twos, but I just couldn't get that to work. Apparently, I cannot draw clouds. They're not very good clouds. I mean, I can't draw anyway, so I don't know why I'm surprised, but I definitely can't draw clouds. And then this one was me planning out my TV and my movie tracker. Originally I was going to do like film down the middle, but because I'm doing a movie one, I decided not to do that, because that's not really TV, and I'm not tracking films, I'm tracking TV shows. So that's kind of me planning that out. So yeah, I plan it all out before I go live with it, if you like, in a journal. And yes, I do draw everything in pencil. So it is from www.printablepaper.net. You see down the bottom there? And yeah, it's just a grid. And the distance of the dots, you can vary that, but the distance of the dots there are the distance of the dots that I use in my bullet journal. So I know if I plan it out on here, how many dots to use. So yeah, that's my kind of, just my play around practice. Oh, what that was, just looking at that, I can say no idea what I was drawing there. It's a little case of some kind. Oh, I think it's because I was going to put it on the book case by the looks of it. I don't think I did. Did I do that in the actual thing? No. No, the case didn't make the cut. And I've sort of had a play at how I might pile the books on there. But I didn't want to just put books on. I thought I'd just actually add a book on when I've read it, so that I can get a visual idea of how many I've done, rather than doing those and just colouring them in. I thought I'd just literally keep it live. So far this year I've read 3. There will be a 4th one probably tonight. I will finish that. And then I'm on my book stack here. So the colour there is blue, and then at the bottom there is Discovery of Witches. So there I will write the book that I actually read in there. I mean, I could very well run out of space on my book stack page, in which case I'll just do another one. And the idea is I'm not going to just keep this book for 2022. When I finish 2022, I'll do a 2023 page, and then just carry on through till I finish the book. Because I think that'd be quite fun to look back on sort of what I was doing last year to this year. And I might buy some little like tabs at the side so I can put 2022, 2023 and stick them on. Because I kind of regretted that I didn't make tabs, but they're quite difficult to make anyway, so I might just do that. But yeah, anyway, that's what I've been up to journaling wise. So that's it for my actual crafts. Next up is Happy Mail. So I have got 2 little parcels in Happy Mail. My first one is the beautiful elderflower stitches, and this is this month's Tea and Yarn Club, and I am getting the stitch markers from the Tea and Yarn Club, and oh, it's so pretty. The little tag, which I love just as much as the stitch markers, is lavender. So it's for lavender tea. It's so pretty. And I am going to hang them up along here when I get my sticky hooks. And then these are the really beautiful little stitch markers. Hold on, let me just spread them out a little bit because they're kind of bunched in together. There we go. Just going to blow my camera out. Oh, so pretty. I love these. I love CC stitch markers. They appeal to me. Yeah, love them. I'm really looking forward to being able to use these now. So that's that one. That was my first bit of Happy Mail. And my second little bit of Happy Mail was actually a bit of a mixed media Happy Mail, if you like. I've got something for knitting in here, although I am actually going to use it probably for sewing, and some journaling bits. So I went onto Rachel So Made Me's update, and I was lucky enough to snag a second one of these. And it's got bees all over it. Isn't that lovely? So pretty. And I love my one of these. Oh, that's beautiful fabric on the inside. That's her tag. And you can put all sorts of things in here. And that's all got pockets as well. I'm going to use this as a sewing one because there's so many bits of my sewing, bits and pieces that I need that I can never find. So I'm going to pop them all in here. And I mean, to be honest, if you had a small project like my swan that I'm doing, you could actually keep your swan in there and then keep everything you need with it. But I'm going to use it for my stitching journal, I think. So my other one I've got is this one, which you can see is chock-a-block full of all my knitting bits and pieces that I need. There's so much in here, like pens and scissors and stitch markers and hand balm and notebooks and stitch counters and needle gauge. So many things. Yeah, that goes everywhere with me. I love that. So yeah, I was really, really pleased to be able to snag a second one. I did hold off for 24 hours before I bought mine, just so that, you know, because I feel a bit, that I know they're so rare, I did feel a bit greedy having two, but after 24 hours I was like, well, okay, it's fair game now. So that's going to be my stitching one. And journal wise, I've bought some really cute little things. I've bought some really pretty spring washi tape. I use washi tape a lot in my journals. I use it to decorate pages, hold things in. Yeah, I use a lot of washi tape, and I have finished quite a few recently, so when I saw this I was like, yeah, gonna get that one. I've got some paper clips, or what are their proper words? Are they bulldog clips? File clips, because I use them to hold my pages open on my journals, and because I've got my main journal and my bullet journal now, I need 4 of them and I have 1. So I have now got 4, so that's useful. Just for actually at the time when you're using them to hold the pages open. You can use them to actually fix stuff in, but I don't use it for that. I use mine to hold my pages open. And then I needed some more fine liners. So I think these are... just black, are they not? Yeah. Yeah, I needed some fine liners, because one thing with bullet journaling, you run out of black fine liners really quickly. So I've gone through 2 since I started journaling proper, which is January. So if I'm going to go through them at a rate of 2 a month, not this one, this was a different one, that's going to be quite high on black fine liner. So I need to sort that out. And she very kindly popped a little, what I think is a Starbucks sticker, but it's just a coffee cup in there, but I love it. Right, my camera battery's dying, and oh, actually I had another one. This is another fine liner. Yeah, so that's another fine liner. The fact I've just had to do a battery change says to me this is going to be quite a long podcast. I apologise. So yeah, so this is another fine liner. Because yeah, as I said, I use them a lot, and apparently they run out quite quickly. Not that because they run out quickly, but because I use them a lot. That was no criticism of the fine liners. So that's my 2 bits of happy mail this week, which I really love. So, news from the knitting project. Wedding prep is hotting up. We spent yesterday in the garden staining a palette and painting boxes, which you will see a little bit of video footage at the end. If you're new here, my eldest daughter is getting married on the 30th of April. On that note, please bear with me if any of these don't come out weekly, because I'm not sure what's going on now, weekend wise, etc. My dear friend is getting married this coming Sunday. She was one of my bridesmaids when I got married, so that's exciting. Really looking forward to that. We've got that on Sunday, and it's all going to be a little bit hit and miss, I think, for the next till May basically. I do record on a Monday, so theoretically this should always go up even if it is a Sunday. And now I've paused Patreon, I can schedule these to upload automatically, because you couldn't show them on Patreon earlier and do that, because apparently that's not possible. So that makes my life easier. What I am going to do is, I've got quite a few videos that I was going to put on my Patreon that I just haven't had a chance to edit, so I'm going to go through and try and put some of those together. I've got one of Meg making a candle, I've got a couple of journaling ones, I think I've got a couple of at least one dyeing one, and I'm going to put those out on this channel, which will be free for everybody to watch. And you know, obviously if you would like to watch them, fabulous. If you don't, then skip over those ones. and that'll give you an idea of what sort of thing I put on my Patreon channel if I decide to go back to it later on in the year. At the moment I do, but we'll see. We'll see how the year goes. I'll just see. It may be that it just works better on YouTube for everybody, and you know, it's free for you guys to watch. If you can watch the ads, then fantastic. I do get a little bit back. But if you'd like to support me anyway, and just on an ad hoc basis, I do have a Ko-fi account, so please do pop across to the Ko-fi account. That would be fantastic. Thank you. But yeah, maybe Patreon's not the way for me to go for me. Maybe being able to just do my videos and pop them up on YouTube for whoever wants to watch them is a better way around for me. I might try and start some method of being able to do Zooms for the podcast. Well, I'll think through that one. I'll try and work out what I want to do with that. Something else just popped into my head and then just popped straight back out again. Oh dear, what else was I going to say? Zooms for the podcast, and oh, and also the one-to-one lessons, I'm interested in starting them up again, not until May, when that was annoying. Not until May, until all of the wedding prep is over and done with. But if you were a Patreon, you were eligible for a discount for those. I will honour that. So if you were a Patreon, let me know. I've got a list, and I will give you the appropriate discount from that. But yeah, anyway, I think that's it now for this week. So I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you next week. I love the fact you're wearing a mask and Kate is just going for it.
Which should be alright now.
It's like getting to that time of year again when I'm actually going to have content for my vlogs. As I just sit here casually videoing you two painting. With a cat about to get in the middle of it if we're not careful. Oh no, apparently she's decided to climb up Dan's trousers instead. Or whatever he's got on that chair. Oh no, it's Kate's coat. And it's a smudge, I thought it was a demi.
Good, sounds good.
Yeah. And to think you were worried we wouldn't have enough.
Yeah.
It goes a lot further than it looks. The only thing with this though is it's going to be, I might have to come back and do this. Get the insides done or something.
The insides.
Well, anywhere that you're going to see.
So the whole thing.
Not the